In the dark and dreary days when the judges ruled the land of Israel, there was an unbelievable famine, and a small Jewish family decided that they needed to leave, and they went to the land of their ancient enemies, the Moabites, in order to just survive. And in the 10 years that they were there, Elimelech and his wife Naomi saw their family grow. Their sons married, but in a turn of unfortunate events, Elimelech died, as did his 2 sons, leaving 3 women there as widows. Time passed, and Naomi got word that the famine had ended in Israel, and she told her daughter-in-laws that it was time to move back. But as she started out on the road to Bethlehem, she turned to her daughter-in-laws and said, "Ladies, go back to your families. There's nothing for you in Israel. It will be harder there for you than it will be for me." But Ruth clung to her, and she said, "Wherever you go, I'll go. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." Good morning, church. My name is Moreland. I'm on staff at Heights Church, and I'm also a volunteer leader for junior high ministry. This past month, we've been talking about risky faith, and today we're going to talk about Ruth from the book of Ruth. When I think about Ruth, I think, is there anything about her that was really particularly special? She didn't have any special talents. She was an immigrant woman from one of those countries, a country that the Israelites just hated. And she was raised to worship a foreign God, a foreign and detestable God. And on top of that, she was unmarried. She's a widow, and she has no means of supporting herself. I wonder, when Ruth was going on her way with Naomi, did she ever think to herself, "I made a mistake"? Did she ever realize the full implications of what she was getting herself into? I think Naomi knew. She knew that it was going to be hard for both of them, but harder for Ruth. But as we read the story of Ruth and we see them go to the homeland of Bethlehem, we see the hand of God move and weave into the everyday life of the things that they're doing. And we see how he takes those simple decisions they make and he makes wonderful and exciting things happen in their life. They have to make decisions like, how are we going to get food? How are we going to make ends meet from day to day? And who can we rely on? And they see God move during those times. Have you ever had the opportunity where you had to practice risky faith in your own life? A couple of years back, maybe 5 years ago, my daughter made a calculated risk, and she moved to a foreign country. She had a job, she had raised money, and she went off. But within the first 24 hours, not even 24 hours had passed when somebody stole all the money that she had brought with her. And she told me that after she decided that she wasn't going to die from this experience and that she had to rely on God to be able to make it through, she saw God's hand move in amazing ways. She went from having a calculated risk to living in a place of risky faith. She had to rely on the kindness of strangers. People who didn't know her before gave her a meal when she didn't have any food to eat. People loaned her money so that she could have a place to stay. And there was even a church that learned about her situation that took up a collection and gave her money until she could get paid for her first paycheck. I wish that we could always live our lives in a position of risky faith, where we could take the risk to show love more, where we could take a risk to show kindness to people more, where we could take the risk to show compassion more, because sometimes when we're in the position to give, we're also in a position of having risky faith. And as we conclude, my prayer for you and my prayer for me is that in our relationship with Jesus, that we become so entwined with him that risky faith becomes the faith that we live out every day. We love you, church family, and we can't wait to be with you again. God bless.